Podcast.
What's up and welcome. This is the Above Limits Podcast. My name is Olympus Mons. That's what I go by here. Trump just gave his Oval Office address, his first one, and there's really nothing new that he said there. I mean, he's talking about how he wants this wall. I've been listening to MSNBC for the past hour and a half, and they've been saying he's acting like a tyrant. You know, he's going to use executive power to force the funding of this wall. And that's, according to his address, I mean, they should all be apologizing or, recanting their opinions, which most of the news is just opinionated anyways. I mean, that's the downfall of our news information that we get in the year 2019. But anyways, he did not say that he was going to use executive power to build his wall. What he's asking is he's asking for Congress to approve the funding, $5 billion to build the wall, a steel barrier. I personally would love to see a border trench that's about 50 feet deep and two walls on each side of it. That's what I would love to see. But we're getting this. When Trump first talked about building a wall, he says it's going to be a great, beautiful wall. I don't think steel barrier is great and beautiful, but that's another conversation, I guess. I mean, like I said, I would love a border trench 50 foot deep and two walls on each of it, with at some points men being able to guard those, monitor drones, sensors, etc. Sector patrolling. Oh, we got these jokers. Got these. Wow, I just saw the response from Pelosi and Schumer. These people are a joke. I mean, let me explain. They've basically they said two things specifically that were repetitious. We're holding hostage, and the reason why that alone, that's the only thing the NPCs, the regular people that aren't into politics, that just are bombarded with something's happening in the government, that's all they're gonna repeat as their statements and their ideas and thoughts, thinking that they're capable of handling intellectual warfare. That he's holding us hostage. He said something else. I don't know, but he just repeating. She said it twice. He said it once. I mean, I personally think the compromise on a $5 billion border barrier is kind of cheap. I think Trump lost in that. He should be asking for his $35 billion Great Wall of Trump. I would love to see that. And here's the deal. There was like 2 million votes more for Hillary Clinton to be president by the popular vote. So that means whatever she won at the popular vote, 2 million less, all those people voted for Trump. And because we have the electoral college instead of the popular vote is how we pick the president, Donald Trump is president, and all those people that voted for Trump want a border wall. So it is a remarkable amount of people that want this, and he won. Now here's where I start to bring in my arguments. Okay, One thing that I've heard through the one of the main arguments people have been putting forth as their original thought to this whole border thing is that, well, Obama. Oh well, let's get to this. This is an article that says basically that Facebook flagged for fake news the argument that the October 2013 shutdown of the government for 16 days was to force Obamacare. Now, Facebook took it upon themselves to basically flag that. Anytime that was brought up as an article, it was taken off their website. To censor that idea, or the other side's kind of NPC argument is that. And here, politifact.com, I didn't need them to fucking tell me this, but they say half true. It is. It's basically the Republicans were in protest over the funding of Obama's signature legislation. This is Trump's signature legislation, is this border wall. That's what he was elected for. That's what people wanted. Are his base. And so it's called signature legislation. Okay. Obamacare was Obama's signature legislation. He wanted the single payer option where the government basically pays for all your health problems. You know what I'm saying? And that was taken out as a negotiation. We can compare that to Trump, where Trump originally wanted like $35 billion. He's negotiated to $5 billion for the physical barrier, right? So that's how they are equivalent, okay? Now, Facebook took it upon themselves to flag that as fake news. No, it's true. Part of the shutdown in Obama's term had to do with the passing of the Affordable Care Act. It was very much a big part of why the government was shut down for 16 days. I think we're pretty close to the 16-day mark for Trump. Okay. Now Trump's using it as a protest, It's both sides. Nancy Pelosi has said she's not funding anything for the wall. And if you listen to what she just said, she said that, well, we could be imposing new ways of how we could scan cars and new ways of how we could patrol and stuff like that. Well, why isn't that being done right now? Why aren't you investing in technologies to do that right now? That should be a part of it. And then they start talking about women and children, that play on people's emotion. It's not women and children. There needs to be other talks that are being done to really get behind what the problem is. Okay, the problems in their country, the problems in how can we get these people to live in Mexico. Mexico wants immigrants there, and the illegal immigrants. Basically, what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer says, that we just want basically the same ways. We'll just have a law, but like let it not be enforced. When Trump is saying, no, we're not going to have that anymore. We're going to actually have we're gonna enforce our immigration laws strictly, which he has every right as a president that ran off of that. So here, let's watch this video, and we'll listen to a little bit of Obama. But I don't get why people, when you compare Obama to what Trump's doing, they want to turn a blind eye. It had everything to do. Listen to the words out of this man's mouth. Here we go.
In 17 years, the Republicans in Congress chose to shut down the federal government. Let me be more specific. One faction of one party in one house of Congress, in one branch of government, shut down major parts of the government, all because they didn't like one law. This Republican shutdown did not have to happen, but I want every American to understand why it did happen. Republicans in the House of Representatives refused to fund the government unless we defunded or dismantled the Affordable Care Act. They've shut down the government over an ideological crusade to deny affordable health insurance to millions of Americans. I urge House Republicans to reopen the government, restart the services Americans depend on, and allow the public servants who have been sent home to return to work. This is only going to happen when Republicans realize they don't get to hold the entire economy hostage over ideological demands.
So there you see again the whole hold hostage. Okay, so I was on. No, to continue. I mean, you heard out of his own mouth that the Affordable Care Act had a pretty good part in why the government got shut down. So I don't know where people are coming off like, oh well, Obama. Or even Facebook flagging that as fake news. It's not fake news. It's what happened, and you're trying to deny what happened. So I was on Facebook today, and the thing that gets me is that there's this NPC argument, basically where people think they're thinking for themselves, and they got this great way of how to combat people like me that don't listen to what they have to say. Like, you're gonna put facts on the table, and I'm supposed to, you're supposed to persuade me into believing how you believe. So this is a post that somebody put. This is the typical uninformed person who listens to a little bit of news, or there's something big happening in the world that normally they wouldn't even care, and especially when Obama was president, they didn't care that people were without getting paychecks and stuff. This is what somebody says. They said, "A president that holds the nation hostage to get what he wants isn't fit to be president." Okay. Obama wanted his signature legislation, the Affordable Care Act. The government was shut down because the other side did not want it, and President Obama allowed the government to shut down, and in a stalemate or a standoff between the people that are on the opposing side, and people trying to tell me that, well, these people aren't getting paid. They're not. Their families are going without eating. I mean, they chose to be government employees. I mean, that's kind of a weak argument, but what was I going to say? These people don't care about that. Those people, they only care about hating Trump. They only care about this new little scandal that's supposedly happening. This is what happens. This is checks and balances. This is how our government is set up. When people don't agree with one another, the whole thing just stops. And that's the great thing about our country. And we're seeing our government work in front of us. And for people to be easily just told, well, these people are going without paychecks, and if you're using that as an argument, you honestly have no business talking in this arena of public discourse and talking about politics, because you are obviously getting your facts and opinions from the mainstream media. And to me, that's a problem because those people do not have your best interest. These people are filthy rich. Rachel Maddow, Joe Scarborough, they're filthy fucking rich. All these people. They're not like you and me. And they will go up there and say whatever they have to be relevant and to have their 6-figure job or 7-figure job. And that's the bottom line. The president ran on building a wall. He's had to compromise. He's getting a smaller version of the wall. But we should be worried about our border. We should not blame that make it about children that are dying because their parents chose to make this long, arduous journey. And that's it. So, if you're one of these people that is stating, well, these people aren't, the government workers aren't getting paid. Okay, they're not getting paid. Most of them will receive a paycheck once the government is declared not shut down anymore. They have contingencies. They will get paid. They will get back pay. Not all of them, but most of them. And government checks will be sent out. And if you think that this is all Donald Trump's fault, it's not. It's the chicken shit people in Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, the other people that are talking, basically look like robots. They don't like Trump just like all of you, and they're in the power of stifling the government, and they are the ones doing it. They could easily stop the shutdown by funding this man's wall. That's it. This is the Above Limits podcast. If you made it this far, subscribe to the channel. Continue to watch. And I thank you for